So, The Suicide Squad is the latest film of the DCEU, and it's not only a sort of reboot, but it's also a standalone sequel to the 2016 Suicide Squad. This film being written and directed by James Gunn, and it stars an ensemble cast of actors that make up Task Force X, aka the Suicide Squad, as they are sent to this laboratory to destroy everything that it contains, including this potentially deadly weapon. Alrighty guys, so let's get into the Suicide Squad.
Excellent!
I cannot tell you all just how excited I have been to see this movie. I mean, if you already can't tell how excited I am to talk about this movie, if y'all have seen my top 5 most anticipated movies of this year, this was my number 4 and it was also my most anticipated comic book movie of the year. I am a gigantic fan of James Gunn. I mean, ever since I saw Slither and Super back in the 2000s decade, well, 2010 because Super was released in 2010, anyways, you guys get the point. When I heard that James Gunn was announced to write and direct this movie, I had no doubts about this movie whatsoever. I just wanted this movie to be an insane, bloody, and fun time at the movies. The Suicide Squad was everything I could have asked for. This movie was batshit insane, and I loved it. And yeah, guys, more than that movie. Now that I just mentioned that, I must address the big old elephant in the room. If you guys have been following me since 2016, when I reviewed the 2016 Suicide Squad, what did I give that movie again?
So overall, I'm gonna give Suicide Squad a 4 out of 5 stars.
I gave the original Suicide Squad a 4 out of 5 stars. After more rewatches, that score has gone considerably down. That movie was originally 4. Now, it's more between like a 1.5 out of 5 and 2 out of 5. More like a 1.75 out of 5. I don't hate it, but do I think it's disappointing? Absolutely yes. Could that movie have been a lot better? Yes, and I blame that all on studio interference. I feel like I have to address the most obvious question out there. Is The Suicide Squad better than Suicide Squad? Yeah. Comparing The Suicide Squad to Suicide Squad is like comparing Zack Snyder's Justice League to the original Justice League. I mean, there's not even a comparison there. Everybody in this movie is great. And when I mean everybody in the Suicide Squad is great. Given how big the cast list is, you may think that James Gunn is only going to be able to give a couple of characters or time the spotlight. Not the case at all. James Gunn is somehow able to give every character their time in the spotlight, no matter how big or small their screen time was. Pete Davidson, Nathan Fillion, Jai Courtney, Flula Borg, Sean Gunn, Michael Rooker, going up to actors like Viola Davis, Margot Robbie, Idris Elba, Daniela Mikor, I hope I'm not butchering your name. Also, David Dastmalchian. Oh my god, Sylvester Stallone in this movie. John Cena. Also, the cast of this movie. Oh my god. Many people are probably going to ask, who is your stand on this movie? I couldn't tell you that because all the characters in this movie do such a great job of portraying these characters, no matter how small or big their screen time is. Idris Elba was great as Bloodsport. John Cena was great as Peacemaker. Joel Kinnaman is great here as Rick Flag, so much better than he was in 2016. Margot Robbie absolutely nails it here as Harley Quinn. Daniela Melchior, I believe I'm butchering your name so bad, if so, I am so sorry. I thought she was terrific as Ratcatcher, and if I'm being honest, I really believe that she was the heart and soul of this movie. I mean, there is a scene in this movie to which she brings it. Sylvester Stallone as King Shark. Oh my god. I ate up every scene that Sylvester Stallone was able to act as King Shark. David Dastmalchian was great as Polka Dot Man, coming as a character that I didn't think I would love as much as I did, but David Dastmalchian has a scene in this movie that I fucking loved. One of the aspects I did enjoy was the casting of Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. Amanda Waller here is terrifying. I mean, there is a scene in this movie where she shows, and she states it herself, I mean, she shows it clearly within her acting, Viola Davis shows, the extreme steps that she will take to make sure the mission is a success. the steps that she will take, I mean, my God, what a ruthless bitch this character is. And Viola Davis plays this character so well. The chemistry between these guys was on fire. Not only can you tell that these actors had a great time playing off of one another, certain groups of actors have a certain synergy with one another. Like, for example, Idris Elba as Bloodsport and John Cena as Peacemaker. I love that their whole rivalry thing going on and trying to one-up each other. I mean, there is a sequence in this movie that had me in stitches. I was laughing so hard. The friendship between King Shark and Ratcatcher, I mean, my God, this brought on one of my favorite dramatic scenes in the entire movie that was much later on in the film. Obviously, no spoilers. Margot Robbie, to me, is Harley Quinn. There hasn't been anybody else live action-wise that has embodied Harley Quinn the way that Margot Robbie has, and I loved her in the 2016 Suicide Squad. In this Suicide Squad, I legitimately think that this Suicide Squad has the best Harley Quinn scene in live action. I mean, you'll know it when you see it, guys, but this scene I'm thinking of, I mean, holy shit. There isn't a single character that I felt like was wasted in this movie. The action in this movie is bonkers. The action in this movie is not only so well shot, I love the way that James Gunn shoots the action in this movie. You can tell that he changed the style and how he shoots everything. He shoots everything so creatively and so viscerally that there is a sequence in this movie in which how he moves the camera I thought was so goddamn cool. It's bloody and gory, and oh my word. When I mean this movie is gory, I mean, holy crap. Within the first action sequence alone, you haven't even seen the gore in this movie. Now, I imagine that you all have heard the phrase turn up to 11. This movie goes further than 11. It goes to fucking 20. Knowing it's James Gunn, I expect nothing less than 20 with this movie. This movie just goes and goes so full of energy. This movie has such a frantic pace to it, but the best thing is with the pacing, this movie never fully compromises or just compromises in general the comedic elements or the more serious moments that this movie happens to have. The cinematography of the Suicide Squad as well is a damn great looking film, and if there's one particular thing that I love about the Suicide Squad, it's how the film evolves with its color palette. At first, the movie kind of starts off with this monotone color palette. After that first 20 minutes though, this movie explodes and just radiates with vibrant colors. The main reason why I was looking forward to this film was because it was directed by James Gunn. James Gunn is one of the few directors that I feel like can do such a great tonal shift between dramatic stuff and comedic stuff and have it flow so well. This movie feels like a gritty 1970 war film with a lot of comedy, but at the same time, it does still have those dramatic moments. Now that I think about it, guys, there wasn't a single joke that didn't make me laugh. One thing that I have seen a lot of superhero movies do these days, especially with one recent one, Black Widow, was that Black Widow will attempt to have these very dramatic moments, and then out of nowhere, it'll have a joke in there that just took me out of the dramatic moment. This is what this movie does, and James Gunn somehow weaves this together so perfectly. He'll have these dramatic moments, and these dramatic moments work really well. He'll weave in a tiny joke, but he does without compromising the dramatic weight of that moment. One of the things that I absolutely loved about the Suicide Squad is this. Amongst all the gore, amongst all the blood and all the swearing and all the violence, this movie has such a great tender heart. Something else that I loved about the Suicide Squad was the score and the soundtrack. This Suicide Squad is a great combination of a fantastic score from John Murphy and also some great stuff on the soundtrack itself. I mean, going from Johnny Cash to a couple of other tracks, how the soundtrack and the score work in tandem, I thought was absolutely terrific in this movie.
Well, that's just fucking great!
If I had to mention any issue that I had with this movie, I'll say this. I still found this part entertaining, but I still have to talk about it nonetheless. There is a sequence involving Harley Quinn and someone else in this movie. This movie has such a fast pace and moves at such a great pace that it does not stop. This scene with Harley Quinn, I couldn't help but feel that the pacing did slow down just a little bit, just a tad bit. But then as soon as the scene ends, picks right back up.
And here we go.
So overall, the Suicide Squad is pure insanity in all the best ways. It's endlessly entertaining, it's fucking hilarious, it's gory, but most of all, it has heart. This movie put a big smile on my face, and I'm gonna tell you all something that might just make you go like, I have not felt this invigorated after seeing a comic book film since Avengers Endgame. I absolutely loved the Suicide Squad. This is easily going to be one of my favorite films of the year, and I am absolutely going to give the Suicide Squad a 5 out of 5 stars. Go see this movie in IMAX, or if you have a Dolby screen, even more so, go see this in Dolby. But if you have to watch on home and HBO Max, just watch it anyway and experience one of the most balls to the wall comic book films they'll probably see in a long time. This movie is insane, and I loved it for that reason. So comment down below and let me know, what did you all think of the Suicide Squad? Did you like it, or did you even hate the film? Let me know below. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. I'm also on Snapchat, so if y'all want to follow me on all those social media platforms, all the links and the usernames are in the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of the Suicide Squad. If so, please hit that like button, also subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell for whenever the latest video of mine goes live. If you guys want to see it in my previous 2 videos, please click right there or there. And of course, until my next video or review, I will see you all next time.